a day we've had on the home page. I'm going to make one quick adjustment here before we get started. I know that some of you have already entered in stocks. I think we're going to do something a little different, moving forward. You all know how great I am at typing. I'm here an hour before the start of the presentation. For the folks in the community room, we're going to start taking stocks a little bit earlier to minimize my typing time so we can do more content. So if you think that's a great idea, hey, Stuart, glad you're here. Excellent. Stuart's here. Stuart provides a lot of help in the room. So doesn't Cheryl Lynn, so thank you for being here. All right. So we're going to get started here in the quick list. Really, it's just a tremendous day on the Dow. No sound on YouTube. Is that true?
No, you're good.
Okay, excellent. All right. My producer says the YouTube sound is great. Excellent. But thank you for letting me know. If you do see a problem throughout the presentation, thank you. I'm glad. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Just let us know in the room. Obviously, I'm monitoring two rooms here. Just remember, folks, this is a double presentation today. We got the YouTube crowd and the community room. Now, just a reminder, folks, the market is closed on Monday. We're going to put together a great watch list of stocks provided by you to help you create a watch list. All right. We're going to get started in the quick list in the upper left-hand corner on the homepage. The Dow is currently up 155 points. The NASDAQ is up 73. All right. The S&P 500 is up 32. And the S&P 100, I'm going to call that unchanged, folks. And the VectorVest Composite is up 0.91. We're currently tracking at VectorVest at a glance. We're currently tracking 9,119 stocks. The number of buys, 2,635. The number of sells, 2,586. Number of holds, 4,696. For everybody that follows me, you know that I think the buy-to-sell ratio at VectorVest is one of the most important indicators in all of Wall Street. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So that is the VectorVest at a glance. Pretty good, healthy dose of buys. Right here, we are currently one tick in the green. At one point, we were two ticks in the green. The price column right here is currently 80.400. 80.400. Okay. We needed to be above 80.457. We were looking at a confirmed up earlier today. We were in a confirmed up earlier today. Okay. We currently do not meet that criteria. We also had two ticks in the green right here. Folks, we do the color guide presentation after this in the community room. This is a must-view presentation. Currently, the buy-to-sell ratio is one tick in the green at 1.02. The MTI, the underlying trend of the market, is 1.02. MTI is 1.13. The underlying trend of the market is 1.13. The trend is currently a down up. We are currently in a confirmed down, our most conservative market timing signal. Over here in the Midas Touch stocks, 4 out of 5 are currently in the green. I'm going to left click on the configuration wrench. Everybody see that, right? You will get a drop down menu. We're going to make this large. It's one of the things that we got a slider bar over here for the folks that are new in the room. We're going to slide this down really quickly. Okay. Wow. Beautiful. Now, percent change. We're in real-time data here. Percent changes from the previous 4 o'clock close. Look at these numbers, folks. Look at these numbers. These are big numbers here. Okay, let me move this over so you can see the names of some of these stocks here really quickly. Oil, yeah, a lot of metals here as well. But really a great day for Midas Touch. If you click here on the configuration wrench, you can also take a look at top-rated VST. A lot of different ways. Wow, beautiful day in the VST stocks. Look at that, all in the green on the VST. Okay, we'll break that down when we get to the next screen, okay? That's top-rated VST. Again, these are the various menu choices you have right here. I'm a big RS guy, and boy, a pretty good day in RS as well. So all three of the screens that you could look up at, really look up to as great opportunities to refresh your watch list can be found right here on the homepage. Okay, so that's a great way to refresh your watch list. All right, so I'm going to go back over here. We're going to go to the Midas Touch. I'm going to shrink this back down to the small size. I bring this to everybody's attention because, believe it or not, one of the most asked questions at VectorVest is the calendar of events. There's a lot of places to get it, but, well, frankly, it's right here on the VectorVest events on the homepage. Okay, now, next week is a very big week here at VectorVest. We have our Tampa 2-Day. You can physically attend, although there's very little tickets left in Tampa, $95 a ticket, great deal. Or you could do the live stream right here on the homepage, right here. You could register now, right there, okay? You could also, if I slide this over right here, you could register right there as well. Okay, so that's our event, big event next week. So what does that mean? Logistically, there'll be no power hour next Friday. I know, I'm disappointed too. All right, we will be in Tampa. I will be moderating the chat on the live stream, so please say hi. Okay, Sherilyn, try refreshing your computer really quickly, or refreshing the YouTube page and sign out and sign back in. I don't think we're having any issues on the YouTube side of things. Joey, can you confirm that for me really quickly, please? Clay, you in? Just confirm that for me, Clay. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so we just did a sound check there, with the production staff here, and so I'm not sure what that issue is, but thank you, Sherilyn. Okay. Ryan, I'm glad you're going to be in Tampa, and that's not Ryan Shook, the guy I work with. Ryan, it's a great opportunity to meet the instructors here at VectorVest. Those are really essentially the coaches. Those coaches make sure that we all stay on track. I was talking to Jerry just this week about the logistics of a trade I was making. I should have listened to Jerry, is what I should have done. All right. So here's the MTI graph, the underlying trend of the market. Obviously came down a little bit right here, and we're really sticking at 1.14, okay? Here's your top-rated RT industries, your top-rated RT sectors. The power of this, we mentioned this, it's probably a time to refresh on this. If we right-click here, we could view the stocks in the industry group here, okay? Now, I talk about this a lot. You know what I don't see here, folks? Tell me if I'm missing something. You know what? Where's those newspaper stocks? I guess they've finally fallen out of the top of the list. We had been talking quite a bit about how the newspaper stocks could be rated as a top, industry sector. All right. So right-clicking on these will allow you to find stocks in those groups. Not a bad way to add stocks to freshen up your watch list. Okay. So, folks, this is the homepage here at VectorVest. It should be like reading the front page of a newspaper. I'm going to do one thing I don't believe we've done in the Power Hour. Just give me 1 second. If I go up here to the homepage and I click on this wrench, you will get a drop-down menu. These are the various components that can be added to your homepage. Folks, I'm a news junkie. Everybody knows me, knows I'm a news junkie. That is how you add stock news to your homepage. Okay? And so you can make the argument the power of the color guard in real time is factoring in all the stock market news instantaneously. Okay, folks, instantaneously. All right. Thank you, Sherilyn. Appreciate the graphics there. Sherilyn has created a graphic for me for the room. Very attractive. I'm sure Desiree's going to love that. All right, folks. So that's the homepage. That's how you can add stock news to the homepage. Again, this page is 100% customizable. I'm going to remove that for right now. We are going to go to the Viewers tab. All right. I'm going to start adding a couple of these stocks now that folks have already added in. Thank you for adding these stocks in. Hopefully my typing is up to snuff this week. All right, let's get some over to the rail. Excellent. Thank you. I love rail. I love trucking stocks, but man, I did not know in a recent article I read that trucking stocks went down with AI. Somehow trucking stocks are somehow related to AI stocks. That lost me a little bit there, but I own trucking stocks. I wasn't happy one way or the other. All right, Iran. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Tim. We'll put that up there. Appreciate that, Tim. Russ, we'll get that in there. Hey, Bill, how you doing, bud? Bill, to answer a question you once asked me, what happens to my ducks when it snows outside? Folks, I have a small duck farm. The ducks don't go outside in the snow. Yeah, not a big fan of snow ducks. All right. NTSK. Thank you. All right. So we've got a pretty healthy list of stocks here. This is a folder that I create every single presentation that we do. It's called the Power Hour. Okay. We're on the Viewers tab. We're in the Power Hour. If you were going to make your own watch list at home, you would go to My Watch List and right-click and create a name, and then subsequently you would start adding stocks to your watch list. Okay. All right. Confirmed up again. Really? Nope. Close. It's close. Look at that. It might be by the end of the presentation. All right, so we're going to go left-click back in the Viewers tab. So we're in the Power Hour. We're down here on this date. This date is highlighted. We got a list of stocks here. Now, here's an interesting thing that this is new content, folks, and we're going to look at really the bottom of this list here. It's a good thing to know here at VectorVest, the watch list average. This is fascinating. So the average percent PRC is negative 1.54. So of all the stocks that we've just entered in this campaign, we're already down 1.54%. The RV of this particular grouping of stocks we're going to analyze here today, I'm going to cover all this here shortly, is 1.37, and the RS is 1.18. The RT is 1.29, and the VST is 1.30, and the CI is 1.36. Wow. GRT for the group is 24. So for the Power Hour, it's hard to say this, February 13th, I'm going to be in big trouble if I forget about Valentine's Day. Wow, I got to be careful here, folks. It's nice when you create your watch list to know right out of the gate if you have upside potential with RV or with RS. That's a very important line. Now, a lot of people probably don't know this, but if you right-click on that line, you could actually graph the entirety of the stocks contained in this watch list. I just think that's awesome. If you think that's great, type in VV Nation, please. Okay? All right. So, view watch list average graph. Okay? Now, if this is your watch list at home, okay, I'm going to want you to sort by RT. Okay? The stocks with the best short-term price trend, they'll be at the top of the page. Your weaker candidates, we got to weed the garden, they call it VectorVest, will be at the bottom of the page. If RT is below 1, they are downward trending. All right, we're going to go back to VST. I'm going to run through these really quickly. We're going to look at Newmont Corp NEM. NEM. It is currently up 6.39%. I have real time, and this is streaming through 2:16 p.m. Okay? Price is $125.69. The value is what VectorVest believes the stock is currently worth. Folks, if you don't know what the value is, you're not playing on a level playing field. You got to know what the value is on anything you buy. Okay? Otherwise, you're probably going to lose money. All right? RV. Again, everybody knows I'm an athlete. As a coach, what am I looking for? Upside potential. Okay? Upside potential. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan's a big value guy. Ryan loves the price to value relationship. Okay? Now, There is a reason why price is near value too, by the way, just to go back to this. Thanks, Ryan, for that, right? Price versus value. If the price is below value, the stock is undervalued. So right out of the gate, if you're buying an overvalued or undervalued stock, I'd like to visually see that representation on a graph, okay? RV, upside potential. The brilliance of the late, great Dr. DeLito. Remember, his rule of rules, we mention it every week. Pick safe, undervalued stocks rising in price with rising earnings per share in an upward trending market. And that's why we went to the homepage first. We know the market is upward trending. Okay. So RV is upside potential. These complicated mathematical equations are broken down on a score of 0 to 2. Anything above 1 is favorable. Okay? These are unbelievably complicated mathematical equations. That's the brilliant of VectorVest. We do everything for you in a very simple way. 0 to 2. 1.70, a monster number. RS, consistency and predictability of financial performance. Okay, if you're a prudent investor, RV and RS need to be above 1. If you're a speculative investor, RV and RS will be below 1. One surefire way of losing money is buying poor RV, poor RS stocks with poor VST. Does everybody understand that? Okay? If you are that type of investor, or any type of investor, you need to know when you are going to sell. Someone wrote me a funny email, and I really enjoyed it. He said, like a prenuptial agreement. I said, sure, that'll work if that works for you. Okay? Know when you're going to sell a stock. All right? We have a stop line here. We'll see it in just a moment. All right? So VST is the only indicator in all of Wall Street that covers technical and fundamentals in one mathematical equation. VST at 1.61 essentially says this stock has the best technical and fundamental indicators, and that stock today is Newmont Corp. VST is the default indicator here at VectorVest. We call it our master indicator. Okay. CI. I love the Comfort Index. What does the Comfort Index do for me? The Comfort Index is consistency and predictability of financial performance. No, that's RS. CI with RS makes for what? Ruler type stocks. CI is the Comfort Index. A CI stock. What does a CI stock do? Resiliency. Price resiliency. And I made a joke, and I really thought it was great. This is a great player that could have a down day, but is still better than everybody else, right? Okay, so that's a pretty funny way of looking at CI. But I love consistency and predictability of financial performance with price resiliency. So that would be RS and CI. So when you're looking through your list of stocks and you want smooth, consistent, upward trending stocks, make sure RS and CI are a big number. Again, folks, these are on a scale of 0 to 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, this is not hard math. All right. The stop line is based upon a 13-week moving average of closing prices. We do factor in company fundamentals here. This is 107.44. If price goes below the stop line, it will automatically be rated a sell. And we'll see that on a graph. GRT, forecasted earnings growth rate expressed as a percent for 1 to 3 years. Now, I'm going to right-click, and we are going to look at a full stock analysis report. And a full stock analysis report will tell you all the terms and definitions we just covered. Newmont Corp engages in the exploration and acquisition of gold properties containing copper, silver, lead, zinc, or other metals. It operates through the following geographical segments: Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Peru, Australia, so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So if you look at stock graph over 3 months here on the stock analysis report, that's a nice graph, frankly. I love that graph. You really want to complement that with an industry graph that's smooth, consistent, upward trending as well. Okay. VectorVest summary. NEM is undervalued. has well above average safety, and is currently ready to buy. These are color coordinated, folks. The program is color coordinated. If you go through the list here, here's CI, here's GRT, PE, and a lot of what we do at VectorVest is, oh, look at this, 17% sales growth rate. Really, if you're new to VectorVest, a new investor, or you really want to be confident in what you're investing in, I highly recommend you print one of these reports out, okay? At least know why you want to buy the stock. Be an educated consumer, okay? Education, to me, increases your confidence, all right? Any questions on the stock analysis report? Rick, thank you. GRT is the golden touch, okay? I love GRT. I make sure I mention GRT every presentation. Everybody in the room knows that's true. The Rocky Balboa indicator gets back up. Thank you, Ryan. I like that. I like that. Really, it's an all-star player, and not, all-stars don't always have a great night, but they're still better than the other players on the court, right? I mean, that's what an all-star should look like. Okay? So that's GRT. Now, we are going to graph all of these stocks before we leave the Viewers tab. Are there any questions on the Viewers tab? I am going to do one more time, just one more time. Right-click. Stock news, really important, right? Stock news here at VectorVest, very important. You got information on options, who owns the stock, what institutions own the stock, what news is today, so on and so forth. Here's your stock analysis report, other graphs like it in the industry. Some people have these programs. I have Options Pro. I have all this. So there's a lot you could do here, okay? So that is a right-click, very important functionality at VectorVest. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to left-click on Graph All, and we're going to start graphing these stocks right now, okay? The first graph, according to VST, we're going to look at is Newmont, NEM. Folks, how do we like this? In the Power Hour, just a kind of a quick review. In the Power Hour, we look at a one-year graph. We're using the VectorVest Simple graph. Okay, so we're going to go to Graph Layout, left-click on VectorVest Simple, and that's it. That's how you do it. Now, listen, you like the star graph? That's fine. We haven't really done this before, but let's go through a couple of these really quickly. My old friend Glenn Tompkins, he loved the star search. I used to like this graph. Okay? That's an easy graph. I love this graph. I absolutely love this graph right here. Okay? So the folks who have VectorVest subscriptions, go in here and play with the various graph layouts, okay, and find out what graph layout, frankly, gives you the confidence to be successful at trading stocks at VectorVest. Okay? Again, graphs are 100% customizable. All right. So we are going to go to the VectorVest Simple. You'll see right here, current graph is VectorVest Simple. All right. I am going to pull this up, and these are the various parameters. All right. Now, the stop line is 107.49. If the price goes below the stop line, the stock is automatically rated a sell. Has this stock been rated a sell this year? Anybody? Before you answer that question, I'm going to right-click. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to go to Change Type, and I'm going to go to Area. All right? I do this every week to teach new people in the room. Okay, that makes this an area graph. We've all agreed in the room visually, this certainly helps understand the relationship between price and the stop line. Okay, now, at the top of the graph, we had the buy, hold, sell recommendation. I absolutely love seeing a stock that has no sell for a year. Okay, that speaks to price, resiliency, and consistency. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so the folks on the YouTube can kind of see some of the indicators I'm going to be talking about. Can everybody see that okay? All right? All right. My name is Thad, T-H-A-D, Reed. Okay? Thank you, Sherilyn, for volunteering what my name is. All right, I'm Thad Reed. I work at VectorVest. I've been a long-time employee here. So I've talked to a lot of people, coached a lot of people here at VectorVest, been in the industry since I was 20 years old. Trust me, I'm not 20 years old anymore. All right. So I'm going to make this bigger for right now. I'll probably kind of slide it over a little bit. All right. But you see the stop right there, hopefully on the screen. Maybe you can't. But the stop on this is 107.41. So if the price goes below, that's automatically ready to sell. If you're looking at the buy, hold, sell recommendation, ideally what I want to see is a stock going from a buy to a hold. Step number one, buy to a hold. I love a sell, hold to a buy, but we don't have that here, which is even better. Okay. I love when a stock kisses this line and pulls away. The stop line. Kisses the stop line, pulls away. Kisses the stop line, pulls away. Now, there's a cautionary tale. If it pulls away too rapidly, it's going to settle back down. And it did. It pulled away, settled back down, and then dynamically pulled away. Now, in conjunction with RT, RT, again, is a short, fast, dynamic price trend. Okay? Above one is upward trending. All right, folks, I added a line here. We've never done this before, but I wanted to visually represent something here. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about support and resistance. So I'm going to talk about what I think is the most important indicator on Wall Street to me, which is RT. Okay? If RT is above this particular line right here, how confident are you that this stock is going to consistently go higher for a long period of time? I'm going to say not confidently, so therefore what? Maybe you tighten your trailing stops. Maybe you get ready to sell. Psychologically get ready to sell. Okay? We could also say that certainly down here, let's get excited, right? Because each time it's touched that line, okay, what do we have? An RT recovery to the upside. Okay, so let's review. In conjunction with, Ed, we'll add the value line on this. All right? Just a cautionary tale. I just have to be cognizant of the more stuff I add, it could, mess up, kind of visually how things look on YouTube. All right. But we'll definitely add the value line here. All right. So we talked about the buy, hold, sell recommendation. We talked about the price action here, and we talked about the stop line. Now we're fixating on RT. Okay. The next thing we want to make sure we're looking at stocks that are not only upward trending with an RT constantly above one. If RT is constantly above one, we know we're buying an upward trending investment, folks. That's just the bottom line. Now we have earnings per share. Earnings per share are absolutely fantastic, stair-stepping in a nice way. That's what we want to see. Down at the bottom of the graph, there are various indicators that I could add here. Okay? One of them is earnings, confirmed calls. You can put market timing on this graph. Okay? We do have a web version of the program. It is a new program here at VectorVest. It will eventually be the flagship program, and it will be unbelievably awesome. To learn more about the web-based version of VectorVest, however, give us a call at this number. I'm going to type this number in, 888-658-7638. I'm typing that in the YouTube room. Folks, 7638, Thaddeus. All right, give me a sec. Let me type it in again. 888-658-7638. I type it in right? All right. Call that number and ask for a $10 30-day trial on our new web-based version of the VectorVest software. 888-658-7638. It is called the Market Launchpad. Okay? The Market Launchpad. So we do talk about it quite a bit on our www.vectorvest.com site. Okay? But definitely call the office for sure. Or call me. Call me after the presentation. Send me an email. All right? thad.reed@vectorvest.com, and I'll personally call you, and we can take you through that program, especially if you're new to VectorVest. I want you getting started using the program, making money right away. Okay? We started the premise out in this particular room of fact versus fiction, and we're sticking to that. And you're an educated consumer, and we're looking at mathematical facts here. Okay? This isn't my opinion. We're looking at mathematical equations, which is what VectorVest represents. Okay. All right, so that's Newmont Mining. Everything really looks good here. It's safe. We're going to add value here, 187.86. So this stock is undervalued. All right, I'm going to left-click on the value line because this is how you add a parameter at VectorVest. Okay. Now, there's your value line. Now, you kind of see how it crunched the graph down, and that's okay, but there is the value line. This stock has been undervalued all year. Okay? Undervalued all year. Okay? All right. So that's adding value. I think I'm going to take that off so it's a little bit easier to see the graphs during the presentation and add it back. So this is NEM, Newmont Corp. Add this to a watch list. This is what a great stock should invariably look like. We're going to go to the next stock here, AGI. Alamos Gold. This is a gold-silver play. Another excellent buy, hold, sell recommendation bar. When this stock right here was rated a sell, it was roughly $24, $23. Okay. The stock went from a series of holds here. And then as the stop line rose and the price rose, we got in a pretty good point here at 28. Okay. And you really haven't looked back. Now, would I call this stock smooth, consistent, and upward trending? Sure. Yeah. It's not my favorite. I like the other stock better. All right. So here's your RT. Okay. So we have a great price action, a great stop line. Right here, price was in the blue area, so therefore it became a sell. Just remember, okay? Price in the blue area is how we get a sell. RT, during that period of time, did what? What's RT doing in here, folks? Lower highs, right? Lower highs. And then it drops right there below 1, okay? It goes up, comes back down, comes up, back down, comes back up, comes back down. The setup I really want to see is right here, it touches 1, and then it starts to pull higher right there, okay? That is a lower low, and right here is a higher high. So right in here, I feel very good on that particular new buy-rated stock, okay? Why is the other stock better? Well, do you consider that to be smooth, consistent, upward trending? That's the question, or volatile. Okay, let's go back up to the other stock. To me, that looks very smooth. The buy, hold, sell recommendation bar is the tip. It's almost a solid green. Okay? If you look at the buy, hold, sell recommendation bar and it's a constant green, it's upward trending. If you look at a hold, you could argue it's sideways to slightly down. A sell is I'm sure we'll see a sell rated stock here shortly. Okay? There's just a lot more hold here. Okay? That's all. Okay? Adam, the moral of the story is if you add them both to a watch list and you sort the watch list by RT, it's going to tell you what the better stock is right now to buy. Okay? So the question is, would I add that stock to a watch list? Absolutely. Okay. Now, how many folks like this stock? I think this is great. Now, by the way, this is AU. This is AU, another mining gold stock. Okay? Look at the buy, hold, sell recommendation bar. That speaks to upward trending price action. The price of this stock, wow, that's a monster move, folks. Look at this. I love to see the L over here. That's the year low at 29. Folks, that's 29 to 109. And now we're going to pinpoint with RT a couple of obvious conclusions. If you had bought this stock when RT went to 1 and rose, you did real well. You could dollar cost average this stock to the upside. Okay? Now, earnings per share is really a monster. They've doubled their earnings per share in a year. That's the bottom line. Okay? They doubled their earnings per share in a year. Okay. All right. It might be easier to read the indicators now that I made that change. Okay. I just shrank those parameters. Now, by the way, adding a parameter. Let's just touch this real quick. We could add any parameters to this we want. Let's add RV. Okay. And let's add RS. Okay. All right. We'll add CI as well. Now, listen, in the real world of my investing, I mean, I'm absolutely going to look at volume. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of reasons for that. Okay. All right. I'm not going to necessarily graph these, but just again, if you left click on the volume box, there's your volume. Okay. So are you a prudent investor? RV 1.78, RS 1.43, CI 1.88. This is in my watch list. That's in my watch list. Okay. AU, Anglo Gold. All right. This is PSIX, Power Solutions International. There's a lot of sell in the buy, hold, sell recommendation bar. Very brief holds, which means it goes dramatically down and then rises. Dramatically down and rises. If you're looking for volatility, this could be a very interesting play. It's very volatile. Okay. 115 down to 50. You have to really stick to your trading plan here and know when to sell. Now, I like this price action right here, pulling away from the stop line. I love RT rising right in here. I love how earnings per share is going higher. Okay. I think I would add this to my watch list. All right. I would add this to my watch list. Okay. However, this is not my favorite candidate because I don't consider this to be smooth, consistent, or upward trending. The rule of rules with Dr. DeLito: pick safe, undervalued stocks rising in price. Now, just as a reminder, we're going to click on value. This is undervalued. It's undervalued. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to left click, pull up the value so it's easier to see the price to value relationship. Okay. So this stock currently is undervalued. The stop is 75.48 and pulling away from the stop line. The value line is rising. RT is a monster number at 1.92. And earnings per share is absolutely dynamic at 5.93. RV above 1.5. RS 0.97. CI 1.42. If you are a swing trader or a day trader, this is a must-have setup. Swing and day traders are going to favor high RV stocks with a lower RS. And low RS at 0.97 is really not that risk-oriented. Okay? I would absolutely add this stock to my watch list. Anyone disagree on that one? Okay. All right. When do you trigger the buy from a watch list? I sort my watch list by RT, and I follow the same stocks year after year, and occasionally weed out unproductive investments, and I add better candidates, which is essentially what we're doing here today. Okay? RT, I know the specific order of the stocks in my watch list. Okay? If I know Microsoft is at the bottom, and it certainly may be at the bottom of my watch list right now, okay? No one suggested we look at Microsoft here, but if we had Microsoft, it'd probably be at the bottom of the watch list and maybe even ready to sell, okay? If Microsoft goes from a sell to a hold and RT starts to get closer to 1, I am really excited to potentially acquire more shares of Microsoft or add to my position. Okay, so the watch list is giving me that information because Dr. DeLito, loved this thing called forced ranking. And that's what we're doing when we sort these watches by RT. Okay, the best players to put on the field are at the top of that list. And that is determined by relative timing, a short, fast, dynamic price trend. Okay. How many stocks you watch year after year decide on? I think that's really a personal question in terms of how much time do you spend doing this. And, well, frankly, I do this for a living, right? So you got to figure I'm here 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I've been at VectorVest for like 13, 15 years. I've lost track. I don't even know. So I would certainly think part of the answer to your question is how much money are we talking about here, right? Okay. I would think the more money that you're managing, the bigger number that watch list should encompass for diversification purposes. All right. So if you're playing with big money on the table, I would add more stocks to my watch list. But certainly, 10, 15, 20, something that you could comfortably understand. And my theory of stocks personally, this is I'm going to give you a personal, not VectorVest answer here, is I know these stocks as well as I know my own kids. If my kid is not looking well, I know about it before they get sick. The other day I said, honey, you don't look good. 2 days later, she's sick. Okay? That's how you should be that familiar with these stocks. But frankly, here at VectorVest, all you have to do is read the full stock analysis report, and you know what's going on. All right? If you open up a full stock analysis report and you love Microsoft, and all of a sudden you're seeing a lot of red line items, there's concerns at Microsoft. Okay? All right. I'm glad that helps you. Thanks, Todd. All right. Excellent. All right. Yeah, no, Ed, I agree with that. Ed said if it consistently doesn't hit the stop price, probably will not get stopped out of a rising stock. The power of a trailing stop, folks, is it's off the highest price point. So let's say you have a trailing stop of 10%. Okay? The stock goes up 50%. You lose 10%, you've locked in a 40% gain. If it goes to 100%, it's 90%. Okay? Although I would argue if I'm up 100%, my stop loss is probably not going to be 10%, just to be honest with you. But let's worry about that problem. We have to worry about that problem. But the moral of the story is you have to know what your stop is before what? Before you even buy the stock in day one. Okay? Know when you're going to sell. And Ed, I think that's important. Okay? And that is your sell criteria becomes adjusted as the stock price goes higher. There's a lot of various methodologies that we talk about at VectorVest of knowing when to sell. The last line in the sand is this bar up here. Okay? And again, that is when price goes below the stop line. Okay? This is an undervalued stock. Wonderful. This stock is valued at 90.80. The RT is 1.39. The earnings per share is awesome. The RV is 1.77. Okay? So we've got some great numbers here, folks. RS 1.45, CI 1.85. I love this stock. Absolutely add it to a watch list. Now, when I was coaching someone this week, and we were back testing and creating a portfolio, he was choosing the number of stocks to have in an industry or sector, which is an interesting question because let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of gold stocks doing very well this year. And if you limit yourself to only 2, that could affect your overall performance level, right? Does everybody understand that? But it certainly is helpful from a diversification standpoint. Okay? Yes, I highly recommend, James, that you have a sell price target in mind. In fact, the day you buy a stock, you should know. Okay? If I bought this stock right here at 33.86, I move the decimal point over one place. Okay? That's a 10% trailing stop. If this sucker goes to 30, I'm out. What's my price of playing the game? $3 a share. Half of that is $1.50. That's a 5% trailing stop. Okay? Now, whatever that is for you, the bottom line is I just did that very unemotionally. It becomes very emotional in real life when you're losing money to know when to sell. Or when you've made a lot of money, as a late, great Dr. Paul once said, and I think you should write this down, when it comes time to sell the stock, you won't want to. Just remember that, folks. You won't want to because of greed. I like to say this to add to Dr. Paul's thought. When it comes time to buying a stock, you won't want to. I get this all day. I wouldn't buy this stock right here. Why not? Why would you buy this stock right here? Well, it's at an all-time high. But every month it's at an all-time high, right? So keep that in mind. That is why Dr. Dolito's rule of rules is so powerful. If you pick safe, undervalued stocks rising in price, and they're higher quarter after quarter, year after year, this is great. This is Dana. I love the trucking space. This probably is better than the stock I'm in the trucking space. The year low is $10. It's at $33.96. Folks, that is absolutely awesome. All right. There's not a lot of sell here, but I do love the sell, hold, buy story. Okay. You're looking at the price level right here at 16. And you're looking right there at about 1870. Obviously, the stock is undervalued. Okay. I'm going to right click on the value line. I'm going to change the style here for a moment. Allegedly. Let's make this line a little bit thicker and easy to see. Everybody think that's a great idea? Easier to see. In fact, we're going to make it a different color. All right, folks. This is the power of VectorVest. I love purple on the black. All right. Okay. This stock is undervalued. The stop is 27.69. The RT is 1.85. That's a monster number. Okay. Earnings per share is $2. Dynamic, beautiful earnings per share. RV 1.49. RS 0.95. That's great for swing and day traders. Okay. CI 1.73. That's awesome. Add this stock to a watch list, folks. Okay. ATI Incorporated, Steel Alloy Company. Another great stock. 48 to 43. There was a couple periods of the sell, hold, buy setup, which I absolutely love to see. Okay. I love to see that. Now, what's the purple line telling me? Everybody in the room, tell me. What's the purple line telling me right now? It is telling me the stock is overvalued. This stock price is above the purple line. Okay. Very interesting that the stop line is above the value line. That's right, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Dave said it's overvalued. Excellent, Dave. Okay. RT, when it goes from below 1 to above 1, that's a great setup in conjunction with the sell, hold, buy story. Okay. Very, very, very good stock. Now, the CI, interesting. Look at this. 1.70. That is awesome. Okay. I kind of like this play because when I'm watching Bloomberg or CNBC, no one's really talking about alloy steel. Tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. It is overvalued. I agree. But here's the problem. Of course it is. It's above the purple line. The answer is if you do buy this stock, you're buying what? More risk. So execute your stop accordingly. All right. On those type of stocks, you absolutely have to know when to sell. All right, let's go to the next one. This stock is right out of the gate undervalued. Okay. Excellent. I'm glad that we added the value line. Okay. Price is below the purple line. It's undervalued. The stock is pulling away from the stop line. There's just a lot of red on this. I love this space. I don't know if this is the best stock in its category. It's under a $15 stock. And I will say, $4 to $13 is a monster move, but man, that's a tough chart. RT goes well above 1, goes below 1. But they are making money. All right, so let's get at it. The stock is undervalued. RT is 1.88. Earnings per share is 0.86. RV is 1.40. RS is 0.63, a little low there. And CI, yeah, folks, you agree? Is that what you expect to see with a poor CI? I agree. I think it is. All right. This is what I was trying to explain to you a few sessions ago. When you become acclimated with the VectorVest indicators, you shouldn't even have to graph the stocks. Okay? When you see that low CI number and then you see that graph, I think, what, folks? I think that's what I expect to see. Okay? Which is an inconsistent price action on the stock. All right. Here's Teradyne. TER. I love that a year ago went from a sell hold to a buy. This stock is significantly overvalued. For those folks willing to take on that risk, if it comes close to the stop line and pulls away, you're killing it. It's really pulled away in here. I'd be a little uncomfortable, but look at the earnings per share. It's magnificent. Wow. RT is constantly above 1, so therefore the stock is by definition upward trending. The stock is way overvalued, however. VectorVest values is at 118.39. RT is at 1.8, a scale of 2, so that's a huge number. Earnings per share is actually fantastic. RV, upside potential. Upside potential. Everybody knows I love upside potential. Not good here. Okay, it's 0.74. However, RS is 1.39. That's very interesting. And CI is 1.65. Wow. That's very interesting. Add it to a watch list. If you buy a stock like this, again, make sure you know when you're going to sell. Okay. We're doing great on time. Everybody knows the rules. This is the power hour. We got about 10 minutes. We're going to start really pushing through here. Okay. This is Serious Logic, CRUS. To me, this is sideways moving, but slightly upward trending, which is kind of a weird story. But here it is, a low of roughly 88, let's say, goes to 144. It is undervalued. It really looks sideways, as evidenced by this whole bar right here. But it is a new buy right there. And RT looks beautiful in here. Earnings per share is absolutely magnificent. Value on this stock is 183.76. This stock is undervalued. All right, excellent. RT 1.43, again on a scale of 0 to 2. That's a magnificent number. RV, upside potential, 1.38. RS, 1.32. CI, 1.30. You got to add it to a watch list. And by the way, I'm a sucker for semiconductors. I really wish I wasn't. I love semiconductor stocks. And so does my stomach doctor. Cup and handle. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. You know, adding it to a watch list, just remember, folks, you know, when I said how many stocks added to a watch list, just because you're adding it to a watch list doesn't ultimately mean you buy the stock. It's just of interest for you to analyze and study, okay, at a later time. Okay. I absolutely love the buy, hold, sell recommendation bar here. I think it's awesome. The stock is significantly undervalued. There's a big sell-off here. If this thing goes from a hold to a buy, this is the type of stock setup I'm looking for. I love the fact that RT goes below 1 and pulls away, and I love earnings per share. RV 1.53, RS 1.44, CI 1.53. Those are the numbers, folks. That's what you expect to see. The stock was only ready to sell, and it was almost a year ago. Excellent stock to add to a watch list. CNX Petroleum, CNX Resources. I just think the opportunity cost of investing money is what it is, man. Listen. I'm going to share something with you all here today. I am a controlling type A personality in recovery. I like to absolutely win at everything I do. Okay. So we had the computer freeze up there. Am I back? Everybody, let me know. VV Nation, the computer froze. I'm back, right? Yeah, thank you. All right. So, I decided to not be that person. I went to a therapist, and I said, the problem is I see things in black and white. She goes, well, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a stock market analyst. She goes, oh, I could help you with this. This will be a one-session deal. I said, really? How's that going to happen? She goes, well, if the stock goes up, did you make money? I said, you did. I said, if the stock goes down, did you lose money? I said, yes, I did. I'm thinking, that's pretty black and white so far, right? She goes, well, gray is when the stock goes sideways. I said, well, this session's not going to last much longer than this because to me, sideways is losing money. And the reason why you're losing money is the opportunity cost of not investing that in one of the gold stocks we cost, to me, is a double negative. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Okay? A sideways moving stock, well, you have your money here, could have been invested in one of those stocks that went from $20 to $40. Okay? We have to ask ourselves, what are the best candidates for our scarce resources known as money? Okay? Is this the best stock for me? I don't think so. And I like this space. Okay? I follow Gush, Gush. By the way, not a single EFT to analyze this week. But Gush is an EFT predicated on oil. All right? Remember, we oftentimes talk about those. You need to read a stock analysis report for an ETF to know what they are doing. And they only have technical indicators, no fundamental indicators. All right. The value here is 55. It is undervalued. The stop line is 36.81. Earnings per share is fine. Nothing wrong with that. RV 1.45, RS 1.16, CI 1.13. I like all the numbers here. I just don't see how I can make a lot of money here. And remember, Thad has a goal. I'm going to share it with you. I want to double my money. Okay? And when I look at a stock like that, I ask myself, do I see myself doubling my money in a reasonable period of time? If the answer is no, then find a better stock. Does everybody understand that? Because remember, we cover over 9,000 stocks here at VectorVest. Don't settle. This is Brinks, BCO. Okay. Got about 5 minutes. Everybody knows the rule. 1 hour. We can only get 1 hour. I'm going to try to push through and get as many as I can here. All right. Might even add some stocks if we have some time. All right. BCO, Brinks, value, undervalued, valued at 160. Stop is 116 and pulling away. I like the buy, hold, sell recommendation bar, by the way. The last time this went from a sell, hold to a buy, right in here, 87 to 131. Everybody knows this company, I hope, right? Brinks. RT, 1.15. Earnings is great. Okay. RV, 1.22. Little light there. RS is pretty good at 1.25. CI, 1.27. You know, I would absolutely add this stock to a watch list based just upon the buy, hold, sell recommendation bar. If this were to become a hold and then another buy, I would absolutely take a trip on that ride. Okay. Veritex Pharmaceutical. Wow, what a monster turnaround in earnings per share. Wow. This is a very pricey stock. It is undervalued, but to me, the buy hold recommendation bar really says this stock is too volatile for really the rule of rules of VectorVest. I would not consider this to be a safe upward trending investment. Okay, so I'm going to skip this one real quick. This is the last one. I want to go to the homepage real quick before we end this presentation. I have 2 minutes. Everybody knows the rules. 1 hour. All right. A lot of buy, hold, sell recommendation on this. This is Irene. Crypto. Man, crypto is tough. But, man, you can make a lot of money here. It's hard to ignore crypto. But if you're buying crypto, to really have to know when to sell. And if you're waiting for the sell criteria, you've waited too long. So let's review the buy, hold, sell recommendation bar. So let's say you own it right in here, which would have been great. But you're thinking at 64, this thing's going to 104. Well, you were wrong. Okay. RT is doing what? What's RT doing? Well, it's not a strong story of confidence is what RT is telling me. Okay. RT is math. Okay. To me, it's suggesting that this is losing strength. I should be tightening my trailing stops, maybe selling one half of my position, or call one of the great coaches at VectorVest and get some assistance. Okay. All right. So that's Irene. That's a great space. All right. So I'm going to minimize the graphs for 1 minute. I want to go back to the homepage for a second. Wow. The color guard is neutral. VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. Folks, remember, the markets are closed on Monday. Let's put together a great, comprehensive watch list of stocks, sort the watch list by RT, and get ready to see what happens on Tuesday. Okay? There's a lot that could happen news-wise between today and Tuesday when the market opens. Okay? So this is the story of the homepage. The story is the market is weakening going into the close. I highly encourage you in the community room to listen to the Daily Color Guide report and get added information. Okay. Now remember, Friday is, well, Friday, and that means we have the views. All right. The SA viewer, which is currently going through scheduled maintenance. What are the mathematical probabilities? I've never in my entire career at VectorVest seen that was undergoing maintenance. But nonetheless, we do an excellent written diatribe every week of the market. We talk about the earnings trend indicator. Those are the reasons why you're in the market, okay? Read the views on Friday, okay? Read the views on Friday, okay? Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Sherilyn. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Terry. Listen, I'm glad everybody could be here. I'm trying to grow the room. Everybody, if you have a friend who's interested in the market, send them the video from YouTube. Okay, get them involved. Help them out. Okay, that's what we do here at VectorVest. We have great members that help people in these community rooms all day long. The community rooms are open 24/7. Whether you're swing trading, retirement trading, we have different techniques for different styles of investor. Okay, if you're new to VectorVest and you want a cheap trial, I put the number in there earlier. Give VectorVest a call. Okay? Give VectorVest a call. No harm, no foul. All right? If you loved the YouTube video, please give me a thumbs up so we can grow the room. I really appreciate it. My name is Thad Reed. Everybody have a safe, wonderful holiday weekend. Thank you.